morning or tea, whatever you like. So thank you for being here on a Sunday. It's day 3. I know everybody's tired. So did you guys go out partying last night? You did? Did you have a good time? Oh, fantastic. I'm so jealous. I went home, put my feet up with sat home with the dogs. I'm so jealous. So on behalf of our entire team, it's a warm welcome to you to day 3 of the Marketing 2.0 conference. We're going to step it up and starting right now following 2 days of learning and networking. If you do put anything on socials, please do use the hashtag Marketing2Conf when tweeting about what's happening. And here's a quick refresher for you. So far, we've learned about the past, present, and the future of marketing, how marketers can use AI in marketing, and much more. And now it's time to learn how to make your brand stand out from others, a tricky thing we know. The first session today is going to be all about data research and personalization. We're mixed together to help you stand out from the crowd. And it's going to be on personalized client discovery, how to make your agency stand out. And our moderator is going to be Anna, CEO of STRATEGIZZE. Anna, if you'd like to come up to the stage. Thanks, guys. And joining her is Lyra from Almoite, founder and online business manager at the Homebased Worker. Sorry, I know that is, they need to put punctuation. I just realized that's your last name. And we have the wonderful Venkat, founder and CEO of BluStream Marketing Solutions, and Mona Mohammed Abul Hassan, associate business director at Madhouse Media. Please give them a nice round of applause. Thank you. Sorry. Digithouse to Dubai. Okay, yes. Great. Thank you. Digithouse to Dubai. This is people not giving me correct info. Apologies, Mona, but thank you. I'm looking forward to you guys having a nice little chat amongst yourselves. So see if your microphones are all switched on. Just flick the buttons upwards there.
Okay. It's a Sunday. We're allowed.
Hello, everyone.
Great.
Good morning.
Great.
Good morning. I hope you had yesterday a wonderful evening. Today we will have the last day of the conference, so it will be the most productive and the best time to partner, to discuss everything and to discuss the performance, right? So how to get the clients, which is the most painful point for everyone. So just want to tell a bit more about the speakers today. We have really seasoned digital marketers here. So first is Mona Abdul Hassan. She is the digital lead for Digithouse Dubai, as it was said before, and she's driving the GSK digital business across Middle East and Africa region. And in her experience for over a decade, Mona has worked across a vast variety of industries, including pharma, real estate, hospitality, entertainment, retail, government, and banking. So that's quite impressive, right? And obviously she has 2 times she was recognized as one of the key digital media faces to watch in the region. So meet Mona.
Nice to meet you guys.
And so then we have Venkat Shankarnarayan. I did it.
You got that right.
Yeah. I did it. Yeah. So Venkat is the CEO of BluStream, a digital agency with clients across India, North America, and MENA region. Venkat is a digital marketer with 15 years experience and has worked in companies like Mindshare and iProspect before starting his own digital marketing agency. He's an expert in digital media and has worked on such brands as Unilever, Honda, Panasonic, PayPal, and DC. So that's also a very impressive portfolio, right? Venkat?
Thank you so much, guys. Nice to meet you.
And then we have Lyra Almoite, right? Oh, okay, thanks. So she's a founder of a very interesting company named Online Business Manager, which helps business coaches set up their business by taking over the business operations and placing systems and automation. Lyra has an extensive experience in corporate marketing. She has been working with marketing of hotels and restaurant brands. And then she made a major career shift to the US to work with different marketing agencies and finally established her interesting company. So let's meet Lyra.
Hi, good
And
morning.
yeah, now we are moving to questions, right? So I would like really to know, like, client discovery, like everyone when we were discussing this before the panel discussion, and like friends of mine who knew the question, they were like, okay, what's the problem? Just like you just find the clients. Find the clients. Finding the clients, you know, in our sphere is not that easy, and 90% of agencies always say that they get most of the clients by referrals. But getting clients by referrals is the passive way of getting the clients, and this is not the. You will never scale. Actually, you will never scale your company to grow big if you will be living only with such clients. You will be taking only passive, not proactive approach. So. As soon as you guys have already quite an experience in this field, and I think you saw already all types of possible clients during the years of managing, working and managing your own businesses, agencies, please tell me about the main steps that of client discovery in your companies, and like what do you think are the most important steps for you in your companies, and how do you implement it, guys? Let's start, Mona.
Yes, so before I actually tap into the question and address that, I want to get a little bit of context in terms of, from our business point of view, why we approach it this way. So pre-pandemic, we were mostly focused as a media agency, a digital media agency, and we were exploring other territories in line with the market, the importance, and acknowledging that media does not sit alone. If we don't have an influence on the creative, then our media won't work to its best. There is so much data out there that if a separate agency is handling each part of the process, one agency for technology, one agency for creative, one agency for media, that's a fragmented journey at the end of the day. Each of the pillars each of the data points will be sitting in different places. So then comes the pandemic and customer experience, and the entire journey just evolved so much with the different consumer behaviors, and we essentially at that point evolved into having specialized teams for each of these I forgot the word. Verticals. So we have a dedicated team for digital media, a dedicated team for customer experience, technology, creative strategy, and we all work together to have a holistic view. And we have deep expertise within each of these. So with that, because we also acknowledge that nothing sits in silos, our discovery process goes on to two streams. We start with a business track, which is basically having interviews with the key stakeholders in the business to understand how they operate, what work streams they have, what type of data they collect, and what intelligence they put on top of that to leverage it. Followed by that, we do a technology track, which enables us to understand what tech they use, how they're integrated, and what customer experiences flow in to deliver the results. Knowing this to really understand their current state enables us to then strategically consider what opportunities can help improve their processes to drive that future state and better business results for them.
Thank you so much, Mona. Regarding the interviews with the clients and like deep dive into understanding of their problems and maybe even psychological profiles and their real like desires and what they really want. Like Venkat, what can you add in here from your experience?
Sure. So I think there are two different stages at which we look at client discovery. One is typically when you're going out to pitch, you need to understand the client first, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that you do there to understand, like Mona said, like a competition audit, understand their audience, all of that. But once you've actually won the business is when the actual client discovery process kicks in, and you go into a much deeper understanding of what their business really is. What is the business opportunity for them? Who is their audience? Nuances around, let's say their behavior, and all of this is backed by data. So I mean, there is typically a process that we follow to ensure that we're discovering our client before we actually onboard them and take campaigns live, etc.
Okay, we are speaking about building a customer profile, right? So do you do it? We do it for our clients, yes, when we give them the strategies or social media marketing campaigns. But do you do it for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we understand the type of clients. We understand the type of clients that we want to go after, and broadly profile them. But you're right. I mean, there's a lot more that we should or we could be doing as agencies to ensure that we're discovering our clients right.
I'm just curious, what is your standard types of clients you're looking for? Are you, like, as an agency? I
Yeah.
mean, like, do you classify them by, like, no, they can pay, they can't, or
So okay, I mean,
wider?
since we do look at a large list of services that we offer, it really, I mean, how we categorize clients is by the vertical that they operate in and the type of size of revenue that they have. And this helps us understand how we can go back to them with an appropriate solution. So for a really large organization, they may not really need everything from us. They'll probably just tell us that you can have one piece of this digital business which you need to help us in, and you can be a specialist there, for instance SEO. But there are small and medium businesses that come to us with the expectation that we're going to help them strategize and grow their business, which is where we need to know everything about what they do. So right from understanding their brand to going in and developing their website. So I mean, to answer your question, it is like a case to case basis. I mean, there's no fixed answer for that. I mean, it changes all the way.
Okay, guys, so the question is goes for everyone. Then we have done the discovery session. Then we did the client persona. Then what goes next? Lyra? If you don't want to answer.
All right. So I think for myself, the client discovery process for me is a little bit different than the usual, mostly because I started as a freelancer and I do have some background with agencies. So before starting this agency or this organization, I already have an idea what kind of clients I wanted to work with. So I always say that the client discovery process that I have embarked started as client centric and like really nailing down what clients I want to work with and which clients I work the best, which ones I deliver results the best. Because there's just so many niches out there, and there I wanted the work process to be joyful. So I'm very nitpicky to say to speak with the clients. And then after I really nail down which kind of clients I want to work with, I start doing more of a solution centric, where okay, what is it that I do the best? Because as entrepreneurs, especially if you started as a one person team, you kind of do everything, but only but some of them are not the best. You always know that there will be someone who would do things better than you. But when you found your expertise and you're able to combine what the data that you have in the client centric approach and the solution centric approach, now you will be able to do um, a solution specific with an emphasis in the client experience, because to me that's very important. Because over the years of working with clients, one thing that I have found is sometimes our clients forget the results that we deliver, but the experience of working with us, how easy it is to work with us, those are the things that really stuck to them. So when you know all those things, you will be able to um, create the communication, the solution, and sometimes even very specific hires to be able to deliver that package that you have in your agency.
So here we are speaking about not just about the clients, what they are looking for and giving them what they're looking for, but also analyzing your previous performance, your previous like do's and don'ts, whether maybe you are attracting certain types of clients, but maybe you don't want to work with them, right? And like, for example, it takes more time to convert them and serve them than the profit you will get in the end. But so we have here several steps. Yes, right. So we are doing the analysis of the market. Then you're analyzing your current situation, your current client pool, right? And you get the feedbacks from clients, right?
Yes,
To understand what they really like in you, what is your strongest point. You may think one thing, it can be completely different, right? So,
definitely.
so yeah, and then we are going to sales funnels, right?
Yeah.
Venkat?
Okay, so I mean, I'm going to talk about the sales funnel all over again, but I think it's paramount. It's really important for you as an agency to understand everything that there is about the way that somebody thinks of your brand, and that's only possible when you look at it from the marketing funnel approach, right? So I think you've got to ask the right questions to understand, what type of objectives you need to go back to the client with, and I'm talking from a media perspective here. So, what is the stage at which your business is? Are you an infant or are you an evolved business? Do people in your market know about your brand? So if they don't, then typically you can't really be a large business. You need to sort of be doing a lot more awareness up the funnel. But let's say that you're a smaller business, you don't have the pockets to go in and do a media blast there. Then you need to come back with a more specific, tailored approach to tell them that these are your niche audiences and probably these are the platforms that you want to reach out to them on. So once you've established that your brand, is out there and people have seen it sufficiently, is when they will start considering you, right? And that sort of brings you down to the mid of the funnel, where you have KPIs like engagement. You want people to sort of come in, engage with your assets on social media, visit your website, spend time on it, check your landing pages out. And once they've really been educated about what your brand or your product or your service or your offering is when they're most likely to actually convert into a purchase or try your product. And so it's really critical to understand what your client needs at that particular point in time, and your solution needs to basically go back to them with an approach where they're maximizing the bang for their buck.
Okay, this is clear. The question is that also we need, I want to know really what on practice you do. Why? Because, social media, this is clear. But what types of social media content works for you the best as the agency? For example, what types of advertising campaigns work for you? Because yes, we don't literally, all small agencies, they don't have time and that much money, to spend on their own advertising. That's why they are they are
That's why we're
getting,
here in conferences
yeah,
like this.
that's why they are so much proud of getting referrals. So this is normal. But I saw just several. I'm curious about your opinion, each of you, because I saw many different types of strategies chosen for agencies, and very often I can see successful strategies where there are some speaker, some brand influencer, from the company. Usually, this is the CEO or some COO, for example, of the company. They become the face of the agency, and they start all this like Gary Vaynerchuk, speaking and videos and TikToks and dancing in the rain and all this stuff. So, and eventually they deliver the message and make the agency known. But how do you think, does such type of content work for you? Would it work for you or no? And maybe other types of content you think that really help you, or advertising campaigns?
Can I? I'll just
Please.
give one tip. So when it comes to us marketing ourselves, essentially to be out there, it's very important to have. And what we do is basically articles on key magazines within the industry, have the thought leadership piece, showcase our strengths essentially, but in a way that will actually add value. We're not there selling ourselves. We're there to highlight key trends, key highlights within the industry that the readers will see value in us. And then this helps us become top of mind when anyone is looking for an expert within the field, because we are presented as thought leaders in the field. So this is one thing that we do.
I think just to add to that, as an agency, you have to practice what you preach, right? So for us, what's really important is that when somebody searches with the intent to hire an agency, we need to be up there. So search marketing becomes really important, right? We also look at, so we consciously create around 40 to 50 marketing specific blogs every month.
Every month?
Every month, every month.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all. That really helps us get up there on search. That's one way of looking at it. There's also videos, short format videos on Instagram, but obviously not running around trees. Uh, yeah, I mean, so what we've realized is that in order for a brand to take you seriously, and especially if you're a small or a mid-size agency, you have to be a thought leader. You need to be out there and tell them and have an opinion on things, basically, right? Now, I'm not saying every opinion is the right opinion, but if it's backed by data, it really makes sense. And therefore, we go back to our blogs, refer to the data sources that we've used, and then create videos out of that. So there are people looking at that. We get leads via that channel, obviously. But what I've realized is typically the traditional form of how you sell an FMCG product online, awareness. That's not how an agency works, right? Because there's a lot more to it. I think trust is extremely critical as a component for an agency, for someone to have in you to be able to give you that type of business. And therefore, I think education is really, really important. I mean, we need to be out there and educate our audiences about, or the clients, for instance, about what is new in the market, like you rightly said, right? What are the new trends? What's going on? And how is it that each one of these platforms can typically help you scale? So yeah, I mean, that I hope that answers sort of part of the question.
Yeah, great, thank you. So
And
Lyra,
to add to that as well, because there are so many marketing strategies out there, but you also have to think about your systems and how it supports all the marketing initiatives that you have been doing. Because I have seen a lot of businesses who keeps putting out content in there, which is great. But how are you processing? How does your systems support that customer journey? Because if are you getting their leads? Are you sending them to a landing page? Like all of those things. Because if you don't, at the end of the day, you're at the mercy of like each platform's algorithm. So like you wanted to have the data that you will be able to control eventually. So like, and there are also so many businesses who told me like, I don't want to advertise right now because I can't support the leads that I'm getting. Like they feel like if they have 100 leads right now, something is gonna break. So like as much as you wanted to focus on like all the marketing strategies that you wanted to do, also pay attention to the systems that you're putting in place to support all these marketing initiatives.
I think that's a brilliant point, because
that exactly leads us to the next question. Like, who do you think is responsible in each company, within the group or in the company, for client discovery? Who would like to start?
I can take that. I mean, so I've been part of, unless you want to.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I've been part of pretty much a very large organization, and now I run a startup. So I've pretty much seen that entire journey. And when you're talking about a large organization, obviously, we were having a discussion in the morning, and it's almost like each vertical is a separate agency, and they collaborate together, right, to be able to give that client an output. Over there, I think it's obviously the person that leads the account from a strategy perspective that needs to be deeply involved, and other specialists that can go in and be part of the discovery process. But in a small agency, well, again, it's the person that drives it and who is the face for the brand, right? Who's interacting with the brand. So typically in an organization like us, like ours, it would be me or my head of strategy that goes in and conducts this entire process of client discovery.
Well, now, do you think you work not in like in a big organization? So
No, I agree. It's the stakeholder that handles the discovery should be somebody that is strategic and technical at the same time, because all the learnings that are being taken out, every word that comes out of the client's mouth within those sessions is super important, and we need to stitch it up together, basically, because the outcome of this is we're supposed to design actionable next steps that will drive business results. So we really need to identify the opportunities through that. So it's not about the who from a title or hierarchy point of view. It's about the team members with the right mindset. So I could be doing this today. My team members could be shadowing me, and in a month's time, they can handle it themselves, right? So yeah, that's what we do.
Lyra?
Yeah, I think for me, well, definitely the the experts in your team has a lot to play a role with it. But if you are an agency and you're working with other businesses who you are crafting strategies with, I think the client has some level of responsibility to their own client discovery as well. Because I can ask the right questions, but I also need the right answers. But at the end of the day, I would say maybe 75% falls into the strategists who are creating these initiatives, and then most likely around 25% would fall into the client you're working with.
I think that's a great way of looking at things. I never looked at it that way, right? I mean,
Yeah, no, I have too many comments on that, so I will skip that. Okay, but what then in this case is the personalization in the client discovery process for big companies and for small agencies? Because, like, I will just at once say that usually for small agencies, they are very crazy about personalization, yes, because like you kiss and hug each your client, you know, you're very happy, but what happens when the company grows? So what's personalization in your companies?
Okay, so from a personalization point of view, in terms of interacting with the clients, right? Or in terms of that behavior, yes.
In terms of discovery, yeah, client discovery.
Yes, so that's where the actual interview process is really designed to understand the ins and outs of that business, the client that we're trying to onboard at that point, because every internal infrastructure of a business is different. That's where it starts at the core. Every output that we deliver, the more that we get out of those sessions and the more the clients are transparent with us to deliver the right information, the more qualitative the output will be and more personalized it will be. So the flaw that we end up seeing sometimes, or there's a bit of a gap when we're interviewing different stakeholders. So let's say the marketing team and the sales team and the purchasing team or whatever, and each team ends up kind of wanting to show off and sound like there might be the best department in the company, intercompany wise, but we're there to help, right? So the more that comfort is built to be able to really acknowledge what gaps you have noticed in your day-to-day, the more that we can help you when that's actually communicated to us.
If we are speaking about technical part, so like the moral part, psychological part, we understood. But if we are speaking about the technical part, how do you personalize like messages for your clients, for clients of advertising agencies specifically? You know,
so
like,
personalization is super
of
important.
channels and so,
okay.
yeah. And
So from the advertising point of view, there's a lot that can be done there, and personalization has become just all the more important. Like I highlighted in the previous panel as well, that we're in the connected age, but we're more disconnected than ever. And in order for a brand to actually connect with an audience or a potential customer, the communication needs to be relevant. So I can talk for days about this, because here we're talking about first-party data that would be our core. We know they're already part of our database, so we know that they've already shown intent with our brand. We communicate to them in a relevant way. Then we have the scalable. So first-party data is essentially the low-scale, high-quality audience and high-value audience that is within our database, and we have that as a segment to communicate to them. And then we have the more scalable audience, which is less value but high scale, which is third-party platform audiences, which can be segmented in 1,000,001 ways, right? So if I want to target business traveler specifically, I can create that segment, talk to them about a business travel specific offer. If I'm a chocolate brand and I want to target mothers with, if, let's say I'm Kinder, that's not my brand, but I'm just going to give an example. Mothers with back to school offers, I can do that as well. So that's from a audience segmentation point of view, but then we also can go into a step further with dynamic creative optimization, which is automated personalization by with the right setup, right? So there's a world out there to drive personalization, and I can take the whole 22 minutes, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay. So
Okay,
can
then
I,
specify a bit the
can I
question.
ask? Can I
Yes.
add to that? Like,
Yeah,
so
please.
as a small or big agency, it doesn't matter. But today, what seems to be happening is that a lot of brands tend to think that agencies are typically a vendor, right? And I think that this needs to change because ultimately we want them to be partners, right? I mean, and that's the outlook that we have. And to be able to talk to someone as a partner, like you rightly said, personalization plays a very important role. So you need to understand them extremely well. You need to understand what their pain points are to be able to go back and then give them an effective solution, because otherwise they're not going to take you seriously. So I'm just going to take like the example of three very varying like clients that we deal with. So one is an insurtech company in the US, and typically they're a well-funded startup. The other one is a person who wants to be a brand, right? And the other is, let's say, a healthcare or a mental health institute, which focuses in a particular region of the country. And now you understand how varied, my thought process or the agency's thought process has to be able to, go back to them with a solution. So what works for a client in the US who's a well-funded startup is not necessarily true for someone who's an individual who wants to be a brand, and so on and so forth. So at some level, it's also the people who are responsible to drive this initiative of marketing that are largely different in different organizations. So unless and until you don't tailor questions in the way that you get the answers you're looking for, it's going to be very difficult to personalize this entire process of client discovery.
Okay, thank you so much. In these terms, I would like to again deeper specify the question. Uh, like, how do you stand out on such a competitive marketing arena? Like, as we talked before, like each single marketing agency, like, okay, again, 85 to 90%, they are saying that they 360-degree agencies, they do everything, like whatever you just like name it, we will do it. So how in this competitive environment do you stand out? Like, you help your companies, your partners, how they stand out, which exact campaigns you launch, or exact promotional materials you use, what helped you, like real case studies, anything.
Right. Um, so in our organization, it's like putting so much attention in the customer journey and building the process and systems to support that transition from someone who is a stranger to, yes, please take my money. I want to work with you. I want to work. And there can be different approaches to it. In our organization, there are multiple campaigns to it as well. And sometimes it's as simple as having all the database and like in one place, so we are able, because that itself I consider it as a campaign, because I have one place to analyze all the data, and okay, based on this, how am I going to build the customer journey based on the data points that I do have. And something that I really like doing and I made my clients do as well is to think about end results. Think about the testimonials that you wanted to receive for this specific thing. And once you have it, break it down backwards. Like, okay, let's say for my client, I want her to have a 500K month, let's say for example. What will that 500K month look like? What are the action items and all that? So that's like really the process of us building campaigns for our clients. So yeah, and it's really I'm very big on process and systems, because to me that's what make businesses scalable. I'm not. I hope I did answer that question, maybe indirectly. But
no. Like this is your scheme, how it works for you. So like, what works for you in Digitas?
So in order to stand out, I mean, I want to give an example for a hospitality client before pre-COVID, where we were really seeing a big gap while we're doing their media. We have very aggressive return on ad spend goals. We create a detailed strategy of how to obtain those sales for the brand, and at the end we get creative that is not helpful for us to achieve that goal. So time and time again, with learnings, we have creative team members at that point, and we know. So as media, we know what works from a channel best practice point of view, what works from a messaging point of view, from the formats, what's the right mix that should be leveraged to achieve each KPI within the funnel. Creative and media working separately, there's always a gap. So we simply went to the client and asked them, this round of campaign, we'll create the creatives for you for free. Test this out. Let's see how it works on performance, how it impacts performance. We already have 3 years historic data. We know the trends. We know your business inside out. Let's try creative from our side, applying the recommendations and best practices from our side. And immediately they saw a huge difference, because it's the tiniest word within the creative actually makes a difference. It's a local hotel brand that is advertised globally to get room bookings. And if the creative says 25% off rooms, someone seeing it in South Africa might not know that this is a hotel in Dubai. If you just say in Dubai, in the creative of rooms in Dubai, it makes all the difference. And we can see this in the results, and we know. So just having those not aggressive, the passion to really push boundaries on that, to show our value, is how we build those connections.
Do you often offer something to do some sample work for free to big clients to onboard them?
Yeah, we usually package things up for them to see the value first, because of course it's a lot of brands have a lot of budget restrictions, or they see some elements as nice to haves while they're actually essential for their business, which is at the core the tech stack, their tech stack. If that's not set up correctly, there's going to be so many inefficiencies in their business. Doing that enables them to see the value and then go into more long-term discussions.
How many of such brands for whom you do some work for free kind of words?
How many?
Approximately. I mean, like approximately.
I
Like
can't.
10%, 1 out of 10 clients, or 1 out of 20.
I
10 out of 10.
know. I wouldn't know, because it's across. It's not just me. It's different
What's
team
your
members.
case in this
In
matter?
my case, I mean, there's a lot that we do for free, honestly, right?
But
Somewhere
how?
I think,
Because the tricky part
So
is
that's-
media. It's paid media.
Yeah.
The rest is owned. So you know.
I need to build a castle in the air for someone to be able to sell what we sell. Okay, and it doesn't. I mean, it's just not like an Excel sheet with some numbers, because there's no head or leg to that. So, in fact, I mean, I don't want to say that consulting companies don't do a lot of work, but what we do for free is what they do, and then we get paid for what we do. So, like you said, for us to exist in an environment where there is a whole, bunch of competition, and it's just not even agencies that are competing with you anymore, right? So I'm typically competing with freelancers. I'm competing with consulting companies, like I just spoke about earlier, and much larger, bigger, digital agencies. And for us to stand out there, it's important for us to tell the client exactly where we add value through that entire customer funnel that I spoke about, the marketing funnel, right? So exactly how is it that we can add value to every layer? How do we do this in an integrated fashion where, again, like you said, the biggest plus point for us is that we're accountable for everything, right? So I can't go back and say that, the creative there wasn't great, so your media campaign isn't working out. No, because we do the creative ourselves, and then we're the ones that traffic that campaign, or the vice versa, where the creative agency says this is an awesome creative, but your media agency did not target the right people, so this isn't working out. And so that is where we stand out. That's where we go in and take ownership, and that's really what a partner does at the end of the day. And that's, I think, where an agency should be.
Yeah, but here I want to. This is clear for the process of serving the clients already after they paid, let's say so, okay? So after the money is in your account, but what happens before the money is in your
That's what
account?
I'm
So you're
saying.
still doing
Yeah,
a
even
lot of free
yeah,
stuff for them.
Yeah, even before the money comes in, right? Because see, a lot of bigger agencies already have that name or credibility, and they've been around for many, many years, maybe 100 years even. Like JWT is a 100-year-old agency, for instance. They have that credibility and legacy to go up to a client and say to them that, what, for us to even do like a research about who your customer should be, I'm going to charge you X thousand dollars. But for us, we need to go in there and do that and then go to the client. So I'm saying that even before we get paid, we're actually starting to work for them.
Do you do this stuff for free?
No. I'm
My
sorry.
girl.
No, I don't. I don't. I think this is why you focus a lot on the processes, because that also set expectations. Like, what do I need from the client, or at what stage of the business you must be in before you can work with us. And I do have quite a few in the database as well that they're like, what you do is great, but I know my business is not yet equipped to work with you. And that's where all the content comes in, all the lead generation, all the freebies and all that stuff. So when they're ready to like where when they are at the stage of their business that they're ready for our service, like they we already they already know me. I'm already at the top of their minds and all
Just
that stuff.
one thing on this, because I don't want it to be perceived that we do this all the time. It's not. It's the opportunities that we really see and of clients
For big
that we
clients, I
already
suppose,
have
only.
been with, not new, but we see a value for them to tap into our other solutions that will help their business, and so we work something out together. But it's not an everyday thing. So
No,
that's why
for
with a small
existing
business,
clients, this
it
is
makes-
just like, of course, you have to
Yeah.
do that, but we are speaking about attracting, discovering new clients. So, I mean, because here in the UAE, I saw it as a big practice. Like, I got several times proposals from some even free zones who like, we know you so well, you are so like famous here, can you do for us marketing for free? I was like, why?
Why?
we're
Just like-
partners at the end
This
of
is
the
like,
day.
because
add
we are a
value.
free zone,
So I'm not saying
and
that
we
I'm
will
doing
like this will be
marketing.
so cool for your PR. Said thank you, I have really valued that, but like we can't do that. But in any case,
Isn't that
this
also
should be
about?
balanced. This shouldn't be devaluing your services. That's what I'm
Of
speaking
course.
about.
Absolutely.
But there are different ways in which different markets work, right? And I'm sure that, yeah, so for instance, what I do in the US is very different from how we operate with clients in India.
Yeah.
I mean, there are processes that work when you set them up in other parts of the world. And where I come from, yeah, there are cultural nuances, right? And you can't really go up there and be like, no, I don't want your business. It doesn't work that way. You've got to go there and create an impact. You've got to make sure that your client understands you, and that's why I'm saying that this is typically a partnership. It cannot be any other way.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Just also one more question, and then we will ask like the audience. Maybe you will also collect some questions. I'm just curious because, like, do you guys, like, as an experts? Yes, we are speaking about expertise, but you know that nowadays the personal branding is working better for the sake of the company than the company brand, and like people are following more personal Instagrams, personal LinkedIn's, and they are driving much more traffic actually than any kind of promotion on your corporate profile. So like, do you use this tool for generating leads for your company? Like, for example, the expertise of your like separate social media manager, I don't know, like some sales director, whoever, who will be speaking up for the company about something? Do you use personal branding for your employees, for your company team?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm an example now, and
You're the CEO. This
So
is
I'm- yeah,
different.
yeah,
do
this
you,
is
do you
different.
promote your employees as well and their expertise?
Absolutely. So, in fact, we encourage everyone. In fact, every single member on my team has access to our company Instagram profile. And well, of course, the thing is, it's not like they can go in and post whatever they want, but there are certain guidelines that we have, right? So, and they have the freedom to basically use those brand guidelines on instances where they feel that they can be thought leaders. They can go up there and use that. The other thing is we also promote them to go in for discussions. We get them to meet people from Google and Facebook, get them trained, get them certified, and empower them, get them to also talk on social media. And every single person on the team is a contributor to those 50 blogs that I spoke about. And in a way, that's sort of, like a gratification for them.
So you made them work hard, yeah? No salary until they will write 2 blogs per month, right?
No, not really. I mean, they're well paid, okay?
What about you,
Yeah.
ladies?
I think for myself as an agency owner, like I took personal branding seriously, mostly because, as I mentioned earlier, the business started as me, a freelancer. So it's very well associated with my personal brand. And up to a point, I was like, I don't want to be in the center of the business. So that's when I like really start carrying the home-based worker as the brand. It was supposed to be just a vlog, but I carried it as a brand. But it really hurt the business because no one can relate with the home-based worker. And even with referrals, they don't know the home-based worker, but they know Lyra. So um, so I did made the switch again. So but the Lyra brand doesn't embody the agency anymore because I'm no longer a one woman team. I have a team now. So now when we do we do the home based worker. Now we carry the brand as Lyra and team. So all the communications is happening from a point of view of everybody in the team, not just me. I mean, we're still banking on Lyra because people know Lyra, but she's no longer just Lyra. She's Lyra and team. So that's how we leverage personal branding in in the agency.
What's in your case?
I think this question is more towards the business owners and small to medium businesses, because from my point of view, we're a global agency. From a personal branding, we are present in all the big conferences. We have the establishment over there. In this market, it's very much about your, on a personal level, your reputation in the industry. So if I say a name of somebody within that's been in the industry for 10 years like me, I will hear already feedback coming in. So if I am now associated with this company and my reputation is good, that attributes well. If not, then if my reputation is bad and I'm associated with this company, that might reflect bad on the company. So it's a reputation game in this country at the end of the day for the big players. Thankfully, my reputation is
Your
decent.
reputation is everything. So what's your final advice, like for agencies to send out, like from your personal experience? Any?
I think people, passion, and process. I think people, because not just the agency, but even organizations are made out of people. Passion is what sets you apart, and the process is what keeps you in check, right? I mean, this is what I would say.
Great. Would you like to add something?
Yeah, again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm really big on process because I really know that this is what will help your business scale, and like really try not sweat on the details, but pay attention to the details because there are so many. I mean, sometimes even meetings. How many of you have received meetings without Zoom links? I mean, that's small things, but that also reflects to how you work, how your business works. So like pay attention to all those systems, all those software, how they integrate well together, and how this supports your client journey.
Thank you so much, guys. Really nice. Any questions? Everybody's
Questions from
sleeping
my
in.
audience this morning. This has been a great chat. Would you like to come up to the microphone and tell us who you are and what your question is? That'd be great.
So my name is Arshil. I think we met already, all of us. So I think my question is specifically on the client discovery part of it. So what is your perspective on bringing in the dynamism in order to define the GTM, while doing this client discovery? I'm just going to give you an example. So let's say if in our GTM, if you are working with the automotive as an industry, and the future of automotive is, just coming down. So do you think that dynamism plays a very big role while, doing this client discovery really well? And what are some of the best approaches that you suggest? Is this going niche or just do spray and pray and come to a conclusion?
So I don't think spray and pray can ever be the answer. I'm sorry, I sound a little biased here, but and the other thing is, I think every industry evolves. I mean, of course, the rate at which they evolve or change is different, but change is constant. So discovery doesn't just apply to new clients; it applies to every client that you have. You need to be on your toes. You need to understand what's going on with them at every given point in time. So yeah, and that's where I think what Lyra said and what you've said is you can't be a silo based, you can't have a silo based approach, and most importantly, you've got to have processes in place. So I think if all of those criteria are met, then yeah, that's
Is it on?
it's on.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning. My question is, on one side, my name is Pramod. I run a digital marketing agency by the name Creative Machines. My question is, on one side, we're talking about having the process, because process is what enables us to scale up. And on the other side, the topics is asking us to personalize things. Don't you think this, in some way, comes in as a hindrance in setting up a process? Because personalized approach is never going to fit into any kind of a process in place. This is what I think, and if you would give us your thought on that.
There could be a method to the madness, I think. There could be, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
there always be. I mean, even how you make money is a process. I mean, that's just how that's just the mindset I am in. But it really boils down to how well do you understand your existing clients? Like, what the communication do they respond to? Is it emails? Then you create systems based on emails. Is it text message? Then you do systems based on text message. And systems are not always integration and automations. Sometimes system means just having a streamlined process where, hey, this admin one needs to check into this client, let's say at the 3-month mark, and sometimes it's just creating checklists for your people to, like, hey, can you check on this up?
I think to add to a point, as long as your client doesn't know that it was in a templatized email and it looks personalized, I mean, it's good, right?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Also, it's. I will give a very small example about that. When we were launching a Google advertising campaign for our clients, they checked I don't know, maybe 10 agencies before us, and every agency in Dubai, they gave them quotation. We will create for you Google advertising for 15 keywords, 10 keywords, 20 keywords. I was like, what is this? Like, how can you generally, and when we did the keyword analysis, we discovered, I think, 5 or 6 different groups of keywords. Inside there is it's like eternal lengths of keywords. And so eventually we launched 200,000 unique advertisings, and each of them, eventually boiled down this all to 50K, so this is all about personalization, which is automated. And then people see everything what they want to see, what they're searching for, and they think that this is just natural, but it's not.
Thank you so much to our panelists. What a great discussion. Thanks, guys. Thank you to
Thank you,
Mona,
thank you.
Lyra, Venkat, and Anna for moderating the session. That's great,
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Can we get you to have a nice photo in the middle there? That would be fantastic. Thank you so much.